Hey everybody, welcome back to our Father's Kitchen here at St. Mary's in Portsmouth, Ohio. You caught me, I was getting ready to go over and pull out a spoon so we can dish out the dump cake here this afternoon. So I am excited as usual.
It's going to be great, guys.
It's going to be a great afternoon.
Yes.
We have a lot of things planned. We have a lot of great dishes planned. Finbar has just come in the room. He's been outside and done his business, so we're ready to do our business, right? It is the theme of Dump Cake Day.
It really is.
Right?
It really is.
Exactly. We're here to have fun with you, to share all of the good things that we've got planned.
Right. Well, we have comfort recipes today, guys. So he mentioned a dump cake. Okay, so many of you are familiar with that. We also have a casserole that's heating up in the oven. So hopefully that's ready for us in a timely way. We're going to find out. And then also, of course, we have our drink. So now this is a Father Joe thing. So I think it's best if you walk us through.
Absolutely, I'm going to walk you through it. This is hard lemonade. It's like an Arnold Palmer. Some of us remember back to John Daly, the golfer, right? So this is the spiked Arnold Palmer. He always liked to put a little vodka in his drink before going out on the golf course. And so we're gonna make a hard iced tea today. One of my favorites. It's a hard Arnold Palmer. And so, what do? First, start with your favorite lemonade. Whether you hand make your lemonade, whether you buy it frozen, this actually happens to come from concentrate from the store. I ran out of time this morning to make my own lemonade, but that's the way life goes in the parish. So this is why we do a lot of things semi-homemade, right? And then also make your best homemade iced tea, right? So very important. These are the two ingredients that you need. The third ingredient, and you're going to have to look at the liquor store. You're going to have to look at Kroger. You're going to have to look at your state store. The recipe calls for a raspberry vodka. So we've got a couple of vodkas today. So we have a raspberry Smirnoff. So we thank you, Smirnoff, for sponsoring us today. And we also thank Ciroc. This is a red berry vodka, and that's the good one. That's the one Jordan likes the best.
Yes, so we, as you all have figured out, we like to make sure that before we show these things to you all, we do taste tests.
We taste them.
And we make sure that things are going well.
If you actually were able to pan the camera, you would be able to see all of us who've been tasting them here before we started and getting into it.
Right. And so as part of that, right, because we want to present good things to you all. You know, we don't want to present crap dishes.
Wow, there she said it. She called it right there live. Don't present your dump cake. Present the best cake.
That's not what I said. Anyway, so personally, I'm a fan of the red berry. Okay. I think it's delicious.
It is. It's very good.
However, there seems to be some strong Smirnoff people around here.
Exactly.
So again,
it all depends on how we spend our college.
Yes.
Depends on which one you like. Let's be honest. So let's make the recipe, huh?
Sure.
Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's do this, right? So you start off with 2 cups of lemonade, right? Get a nice glass pitcher. I think presentation is always the best. So 2 cups of your lemonade. Pour that into your glass pitcher. 3 cups of your best iced tea. All right? Make your iced tea. There's a lot of different methods. Absolutely. There's a lot of methods to making iced tea, whether you make it out in the sun, whether you make it quick on the spot like we've done this afternoon, and then you just mix those two together, right? Beautiful. There's your Arnold Palmer. Now I'm going to up it one more notch. You're going to put a 1/4 cup of honey in there to sweeten that whole mixture together. All right, beautiful, nice, fresh honey. If you have honeybees that have swarmed, we have somebody on staff who's made catch boxes. So if you'd like to get rid of your honeybees or your swarms, call the office here and we can put you in contact with somebody and they can bring out a box to get at your swarms. because certainly those are a hot commodity right now, right?
Yeah, they're happening.
They're happening. It's happening all across the worlds right now. The swarms are coming together. So
across the world.
Across the worlds, right here, folks.
Yep.
The worlds.
Uh-huh.
All right, so quarter cup of honey in there with your mixture. Then stir that up. Make sure you get it all mixed all the way through. That honey dissolves. You don't want chunky honey, right? I don't like chunky honey. That doesn't make for a nice, soothing afternoon cocktail. You want that all nice.
Chunky.
I don't want chunky. I don't want chunky honey. So this is that's all mixed together. So, got a question first?
No, I'm just wanting to say hi to people. So there's all sorts. So hello to everyone that are providing comments. In particular, Annette Davis, she says, people ask us for Arnold Palmer's at the festival every year. We make those, minus the booze.
Minus the booze.
Well, maybe.
Well, and that's why I don't come to that stand. So.
Sorry, Annette.
All right, get your favorite glass. Fill it with ice. Okay, fill that glass up. Finbar likes the ice, so I always make sure I drop a little ice on the ground for the Finbar. And for me, how I measure it out, I've got 1/8 of a cup right here. I'm going to take 1/8 of a cup of the vodka, and we're going to pour that right into the cup, and a little bit more, just because that's my good measure, right? That's how I measure things. I also like to top it with a couple fresh raspberries. Look at that, beautiful, nice presentation. And then you let her go. You fill that up right to the rim, and you've got yourself a wonderful, it's a very comforting drink. It's a sweet tea that really just brings it all together for your afternoon, and it's a nice sipping drink when you're out. If you have an opportunity to sit out on the porch on your swing, this really
it's delicious.
It travels well in the car. You can make it. you can take it to the golf course. You can work all day in the garden. Jordan is a gardener. She has been doing a lot of planting. This is a planting drink.
It is. And also, just as a fair warning, it does go down really easy, folks. It is so easy.
Well,
easy.
Here's to going down easy. Right here. Oh, I have to say, I really like the Smirnoff.
Really?
Right.
Well, you know,
I'll have to make another for Jordan.
I was gonna say, you all handle it. I got this.
She's got that under control, ladies and gentlemen.
We've got a drink.
We've got a drink.
Now
we can move on with the rest of the afternoon.
It is time for some cake.
It's time for some cake.
Because we've got some cooking to do. We've got some things pre-made, but we need to make a cake.
We do need to make a cake. I have made one already, obviously, and for me, a dump cake.
Let me, Vanna.
I know it's the dump cake. This is one that I normally. This is the first time I've ever made this one. I'll be honest. So this is. Wow, Finbar is back there barking at the hot water. That's lovely. I think he sees dead people.
That's what it is.
There's some comments in there.
Oh, comments, sorry.
So on the dump cake, it's very simple, right? This comes back to my Boy Scout days, and which really makes me excited. So all my Boy Scout buddies out there, this was made around the campfire, and I can tell you, there's no one recipe because the recipe changes week after week. Every time you go camping, sometimes you need to thicken it up with a little hot chocolate. Sometimes you just never know. Some people add Sprite to it. Some people make theirs all different kind of ways. But for me, here's the recipe, right? 2 cans.
Let's pause for just a second. Real quick, let's address this question. So, cocktail. So where can you find it? Cooks with Cocktails, everybody. Cooks with Cocktails.
Very simple.
Yes, hard lemon and raspberry iced black tea. That's the title.
We'll put it up on the Facebook so people can take a look at it. All right. So for me, we're going to make this next one. This one is Black Forest. This one actually has 2 cans of cherry pie filling, then with a triple chocolate cake, and then you just put the dry mix on it. You don't mix the mix. You just put there's enough liquid in the pie filling. So you put the dry mix, and then you put 1.5 sticks of butter cut up over top of it, and that creates enough liquid for the dump cake. So that's how you put this together. You bake at 375 for 45 minutes, and you've got a fantastic dessert. So I'm going to get the butter out right now while Jordan is pulling out her casserole.
Yeah. So, guys, today. Sorry, let me get my shenanigans together here. Okay. So today, casserole. I am a huge fan of this particular casserole. So this is something from my childhood, actually. This is one of those that we were talking about what kind of recipes evoke comfort. And so for me, this is one of those. Do you want me to talk about it more, or do you want to talk about your kids?
No, go ahead, and I'll come back and show them the finished before we put it in the oven. Okay.
So this casserole is a sausage and wild rice casserole, and let me talk you through it because it's something that is a little it takes a little bit of time. So I prepped everything ahead, and so that way it's ready for us to eat right now in front of you all. So
and we can tell you how good it is, and then you can make it and try it at home.
Exactly. So
Father Toto would never lie to us.
Anyway. Anyway, so. Okay. So, there's a lot of things there, folks. Anyway, so this casserole. How do you make it? Well, obviously, as the name evokes, you have sausage and wild rice. But also cheese. And so as long as you have those 3 main components from there, it's really flexible. So it has the sausage, wild rice, cheese, cream of mushroom. It has milk. It has mushrooms, celery, and onions, and then a whole host of spices. So it's a really savory, I would call it kind of a more mild tasting casserole. It's not going to be something that like punches you in the face, okay? It's going to be just really just a soothing, comforting casserole. Now, here's full disclosure. As usual, when I cook, things inevitably don't quite go to plan. So I will put in the comments below the recipe because you can't find it online. It's something that my mom found. That's right there.
Just a little.
Just a little.
I like a boozy peach dump cake.
Yeah. Oh man!
No.
Wow! All right then.
Don't tell anyone.
I'm just gonna keep sipping this. So I will put the recipe down below in the comments, and maybe if my mom is watching, hi mom, first of all, okay.
The Mary Yoakum is watching this afternoon. Hi there, Mom and Dad.
Hi.
Good to see you.
So maybe Mom, you could also put in the comments the actual recipe for this. I had to deviate from the recipe because we couldn't find one of the main ingredients, which was Uncle Ben's wild rice. And Uncle Ben's usually comes with a seasoning packet, right? I come to find out later that that's a crucial component of this casserole.
Oh!
Isn't that great?
There's a crucial component.
I didn't realize
and it's
that.
not in there.
So, what did I have to do? I had to doctor it. So we have here this wild rice casserole with a lot of Jordan doctoring to it. In order to make it...
Mom, I would like to.
So Mom, please, if you would, in the comments, put the proper recipe so that way people could actually follow the real recipe. But we couldn't find that Uncle Ben's Ready Rice. I don't know if Kroger's just... it's having a hard time. It's like the yeast debacle.
But I can tell you what, I went today and guess what Kroger had? Fleischmann's yeast,
Seriously,
rapid rise
it's all
yeast.
back. It's all back.
It's back. It's all coming back.
There we go. So
I know.
maybe
but
just
they didn't
wait
have very many pie filling.
Oh really?
No.
Oh, so see, we're just we're having a hard time here. So anyway, so casserole, super easy to make. It's literally, once you cook the main components, you throw it all together, put it in a 9x13, bake it off, voila, casserole, super easy. So we'll have to be sure to try that once we get through this dump cake.
I know, it's time consuming, not really. This takes you, this is so fast, so quick, so easy. You can buy a cake mix, you don't have to spend time. Now if you make your own cake mixes, I mean, I can't imagine Jordan making anything like this because she would be very concerned. She has to do it herself. But anyway, I'm not throwing her under the bus. I'm just saying that's Jordan's style, right? That's how we roll in Jordan land. So we
there's no commentary there
There's
at all.
no commentary there at all. And I wouldn't expect anything less. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Well, it's fine.
All right, folks, so here you go. Simple dump cake. If you can see it at home, right? You put the cake right on top. You don't have to mix the batter, nothing. Dry batter. The butter can see it. I mean, the butter and the juices from the fruit make it all together. So it provides all of the moisture necessary for the cake, and that little bit. I put a 1/4 cup of vodka in there too, because that will also it will bake away, but it will also add a nice flavor and moisture to the cake as it bakes. So we're going in 375. I think Jordan turned me off here. She turned the oven off on me. That's okay. It's still nice and warm. And
again, I'm just going to continue drinking this.
There we go.
There we go. We'll just solve that. So I'm really entertained by the comments here, folks. Nancy Denini says that we are sipping our wine as we watch the show. So hello, Nancy. Let's see, Pam Reepenhoff. She says, well, that's a great idea, Nancy. I think I'll join you. Well, hey everybody, cheers.
I'm glad we're able to inspire people.
Exactly, Ron.
We are inspiring people.
We are very good at inspiring. Also, Paul Baum has to offer his commentary as well. And he says, disclaimer, Jordan is not an actual doctor. And that is correct. I'm not an actual doctor, but I can doctor casseroles all day long.
But she plays one on TV.
On the internet, I do. My mom then comments, because, hi Mom, thank you. I spent an hour on the phone this morning about this, meaning that I called my mom this morning, and I was like, Mom, just to clarify, how do we make this? And she was like, wait, you don't have this? This is a main component of this casserole. And so we had a whole hour-long conversation about this. Anyway, so, and then Paul comments, we thank you for your sacrifice to
I know,
my mother.
God bless you.
Thanks, everybody.
Somebody has to.
Well, thanks. All right, so
are we going to try this casserole, or are we just going to talk about it?
I don't know. I'm going to talk about it some more.
You think you need to talk? And drink. Right?
So I need, let's do a couple of little bowls.
Fantastic.
And some spoons.
We're gonna spoon this up. I also made a homemade whipped cream to put on top of this Black Forest cherry cake. In it I put a little bit of the raspberry vodka. So when I make, I don't add cream of tartar. I don't add sugar. I generally try to use something from the meal. If I'm having a particular drink, I try to bring that golden thread throughout all of the parts of the meal. So I'm using the raspberry vodka to be able to sweeten it. To be able to tie the flavors of the meal together. I think that's very important. So on top of each of the Black Forest cakes, we're just going to dollop. This is heavy whipping cream and probably 2 tablespoons of raspberry vodka. I like Cointreau. We've used that before in several of our drinks here on our COVID cooking channel. And looks like everybody else wants to try some too.
Well, I just realized
there's more people sitting around us. We have an audience here today.
Yes, we do. And And I realized that you would spoon some up for everybody. So I was like, oh, I am so far behind. Okay, I need to get a move on. So, anyway, all right, so let's spoon some up for everybody else.
So look at this. Everybody's going to be able to get to try. Look at this, Jordan. Everyone's going to get to try it.
Everybody gets to try your dump cake.
I know, my dump cake. Everybody gets some dump cake.
Everybody gets your crap cake.
Yeah, I know. God bless us, everyone.
Here, just
Well, I know who's not getting any.
my turn. It's my turn.
That's why we have so much fun here on our staff.
I love
It is
it.
so.
I love
It
it.
is so true.
Oh gosh,
So
so
there
much
you go.
shenanigans, so much. Let's see here. I'm gonna just keep on spooning up. Let's see.
Let's try this. Let's try this before you spoon any more here. Let's dive into this. So
Okay,
this again is sausage.
Yes, sausage, wild
Wow,
rice, cheese, and a variety of other things.
Mmm.
Good
Okay.
flavoring, good spices.
Good spices.
What's the spices you put in there, Jordan?
Onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper. What else? Paprika. Yeah.
This is fantastic, folks.
Wow.
You need to try this. This would be a great night to have it. It's a little chilly outside. The rain is coming
It's very
down.
good. It's very good.
Jump to Kroger.
I just gotta keep on spooning.
And Mama Waring put the recipe up there so everybody can try it.
Yeah. Would you like some? Just a
I
little
think
bit?
it's fantastic.
Delicious.
Cool. Yay.
The mushrooms,
Yes.
it really brings it all
Celery.
together.
We're gonna. Okay.
Okay,
What about you?
here's
Yeah, a
some.
little bit? Okay.
Here's your dump cake.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in front of the camera.
do. You know, going rogue here. Anyway, so that was a whole nother thing. Never mind. Okay. Anyway,
Okay,
Moving on.
moving on.
here we go.
And drink. And drink. Are you sensing a theme here?
This is delicious.
Okay.
Isn't that fantastic? That's a great casserole,
With the
people.
cheese.
Yeah.
This is amazing. It just comes together so well.
Good.
It's
Sorry,
very, it's
I
very,
walked off camera, everybody, so that way I could blow my nose and wash my hands. So there we go. So that
We
way,
got it.
in
We've
case,
got it all together.
You know, hey.
We won't spread COVID to you through the camera.
Exactly. Right.
Just in case we were that was going to be a worry. You're safe.
Right.
You're safe with us.
There we go.
Well, I think that's probably a nice segue to really talk about one of the things that we want to discuss this afternoon. You know, before too long, we are going to be back at Mass, and if you would comment to let me know that you have already received my letter in the mail. We sent it out on Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. So hopefully it is already arriving at your doors. So let us know if you've got it already. Otherwise, you're going to receive a letter from me, and you're receiving a letter from the bishop talking about what it's going to mean for us to return to our parishes to keep each other safe. Has anybody responded? I don't know.
Not yet, but give them time. They will.
They give them time for sure.
Dump cake is amazing.
Oh, sorry, I haven't even tried it. Where did it go? Did
I
not
didn't give
get
you one.
Oh,
I told you. I said everybody was going to get one except Jordan.
Okay.
Oh, there's two
Oh, I
there.
got one. Okay, great. Thanks. See, Paul's
Nice.
got my
See,
back.
Paul's got you.
Paul's got my back. I see where I fall here. I see what happens. You just say one thing, guys.
One thing.
One thing, and it's all over. I've got a lot of comments that no, we have not.
Okay, so it was put all together on Monday, and
Oh,
Jordan, what do you think?
oh, hello. Oh, hello.
Oh!
Hey. We have visitors.
Hey, settle down.
We have visitors. So it is.
Yeah, we have the Odells outside the
window
window,
saying hi. Hello.
coming down and watching the cooking show from
Yeah,
outside.
how fun. So thanks to them.
And if you didn't know it, Finn is a great guard dog. He hears, he can hear any noise across all of Portsmouth. So he lets you know if there's someone in your back door.
It's true.
Exactly. So here we go. So you haven't got it yet. You're going to be getting it in the mail today or tomorrow. But they have all gone out. So Bishop writes a letter just responding to the coronavirus here in our diocese. And so then we have been given the guidelines for what it's going to mean for us to return back to our parishes. So just first of all, Bishop Brennan has dispensed all of the Catholic faithful who reside in the Diocese of Columbus, and all other Catholics currently in its territories, from the obligation of attending Sunday Mass until September 13th, right? So we have been dispensed at this point. Vanna White's going to write this up here.
Yes.
So the obligation to attend Sunday Mass has been lifted for all Catholics in our diocese, in the 23 counties of the Diocese of Columbus, until September 13th, through September 13th. And certainly, for me, for you, we wish that we could all be gathering with us for the celebration of the Eucharist, but just know this. When you come out, obviously Governor DeWine has lifted the stay-at-home ban, right? And he's lifted the quarantine ban that if you travel outside of the state of Ohio. So the thing is that when you come out of your houses, when you come together to celebrate a public Mass, we cannot, this is my disclaimer for anyone who gets sick, right? We cannot guarantee your complete safety at this time when you come to the parishes for Mass. All right? That's very important. We are not guaranteeing your safety when you come to Masses. I think that's very noisy over there from Father Tuttle slamming his glasses together. So, no big deal. Very important. We are not guaranteeing your safety when you come to Mass. All right? So, public daily Mass is going to begin next Monday on Memorial Day at noon. We are only going to be holding one daily Mass a day. Only one. Uno momento. 1 minute. Only one. I'm going to say it again. Only one daily Mass for our parishes. And that's because we're live streaming, and the fact is there is no obligation to go to Mass, and it has been dispensed until, again, September 13th. So, there's Finbar again. I told you if he sees anyone outside, he's always trying to keep us safe, okay? So again, only one daily Mass. It will be live streamed from St. Mary's, but you will be able to attend. Public Sunday Masses are going to resume May 30th and 31st. Now, when we resume public Sunday Masses, there has been a permanent change. I'll say it again. There has been a permanent change to the Mass schedule in the Scioto Catholic Consortium. The Saturday Vigil, there will only be one Saturday evening Mass for the entire consortium, and that will be at 4:30 in the evening at Holy Redeemer. Okay? Very important to note. Sunday, this is the Mass times. 9 a.m. at St. Peter's. So you've noticed that we've done away with the 7:30 in the morning at Holy Redeemer. Okay? So we are only going to be offering the 9 a.m. at St. Peter. We will offer 10:30 a.m. at St. Mary's. That 10:30 a.m. Mass is going to be our live streamed Mass. Okay, we're going to continue live streaming Masses. We're going to live stream Holy Hours, but 10:30 Mass on Sunday will be live streamed. There will be a Sunday noon Mass at St. Monica, and then in the afternoon on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. there will be a Mass at Holy Redeemer, and it will be bilingual. So every Sunday now we will have a bilingual Mass in English and Spanish for our community. So again, let me just repeat the Mass schedule. Saturday evening, 4:30 at Holy Redeemer. On Sunday, 9 a.m. at St. Peter. 10:30 a.m. at St. Mary's, which will be live streamed. Sunday at noon at St. Monica. And then Sunday at 4:30 in the afternoon, which will be bilingual. So that is a change up from our Mass schedule, which we have been used to prior to COVID. But let's be honest, folks, we have a lot of things going on. First of all, we're not just swinging back into masses, right? We are doing so slowly. Even though the world is opening up, we have to do so slowly. We have to do so in a safe way so that we can do the best for providing for all of you. All right. So the following practices are going to be very important when we come back together. There's a whole list, so it's going to be important that you look at these. I can go over them today, but you need to make sure that you read them when this letter comes to you. Since you are dispensed and there is limited seating, I'll talk about that in a minute, we ask that you consider other options for Sunday Mass by attending live stream, by attending other Sunday Mass times instead of the one that you are normally attending. And we also invite you to attend daily Mass instead of a weekend Mass. Okay, so that's very important as well. Maybe we should check the comments. Is there anybody popping up here as we're moving along? Nope.
Only that they can't read the board, which is a shame. So, but I started writing bigger.
Okay.
So, okay.
Paul fixed it. Now you can
Okay,
read it.
great.
And I'm standing in the way over here too.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now here comes the hard part, folks. This is very difficult, and it seemed to be the only fair way to be able to invite people because we have very few number of seats available in the churches during this time. Okay, just to let you know, Holy Redeemer only has 50 seats available for Mass. Okay, because of the COVID restrictions, we're going every 3 pews. That's the diocesan regulation in all of our parishes. St. Monica only has 22 seats. I may have to leave you here to put Finn in his kennel. Put Finn in his kennel. St. Mary's. Go ahead and put him in his kennel, yeah. St. Mary's only has 50 seats available. And St. Peter in Chains only has 40 seats available. So, we're talking where we were used to having over 1,000 seats available for the weekend Masses. We're down to 162 places. We are only able to see 162 of you. I'm going to. Only 162 places available in all of our parishes for the weekend, right? We were used to having over 1,000,
Right.
and that's not going to happen.
So again, so that's St. Mary's can seat 50. HR, Holy Redeemer, can seat 50. St. Peter can seat 40. And then, what was St. Monica?
St. Monica, only 22.
Only 22.
Right. So this is very important for us. So just like Masses when you go to Rome, just like Bishop Brennan's installation Mass, you are going to have a ticket to be able to enter the church for Mass, okay? Tickets will be available between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. Wednesday through Friday, starting next week, okay? Wednesday through Friday, 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. Your ticket will determine the Mass time in the church that you will be attending, okay? You will have to physically drive here to get your ticket. You must pick up your ticket in person, and they cannot be reserved over the phone. You can only pick up a ticket for your immediate family only and no one else. You can't pick up a ticket for grandma. You can't pick up a ticket for your neighbors. You can only pick up a ticket for yourself and for the people who live within your household. Once the tickets are gone, they are gone. All right? You will not be allowed to enter the door without a ticket. We have trained ushers and volunteers. The tickets are numbered. The tickets are stamped in such a way we'll know that if you tried, and no one I know would do this, but just in case you falsified it, we're going to know. So it's very important that if you are going to enter the door of the church for Mass, you must pick up one of these tickets. If you miss your particular ticketed Mass time, you can't use your ticket at another church for the weekend because it's specifically only for the church that the ticket is printed for.
So we have a couple of questions.
Yep.
What about the choir loft?
There is no choir. The choir lofts are not open. No one will be allowed in the choir lofts. There will only be one Mass with music, and that is going to be the live stream Mass at 10:30 at St. Mary's. That's down the list. So there will be no seating in the choir lofts because that's such a confined space in the church.
Yes.
Okay, so there will be no seating in the choir lofts at all. Thank you. Those doors will be locked. All right. So again, there are 50 seats available at Holy Redeemer. There are 22 seats available at St. Monica. There are 50 seats available at St. Mary's. There are 40 seats available at St. Peter in Chains. Tickets will be available here in the office. You will be able to pick them up in person starting next Wednesday for the following week's Mass. You can't pick up a ticket for a Mass 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, that's not how this works.
That's not how this works. You will pick up a Mass from Wednesday to Friday right before the weekend's Masses. Okay?
We have more questions, but I'm going to let you continue through the list because
Let me go through the list before we
Yes.
take any questions,
Yes,
please.
because
You
we're
would need to take it pickup time.
Nope, I'll do it at the end. Yeah, I'll do it at the end. Thank you. I'm just going to go through the list, and then we'll come back to those questions. Okay? You're going to get this in a letter, so
Yes,
I
yes.
don't have to repeat it today, right? You're going to get this in a letter in your hands. It's very important to pay attention to. I know it sounds like I'm being harsh, but it's the way we got to do it.
guys, we're concerned about you.
We're concerned, absolutely. I am totally concerned.
This is something that has been on our hearts and our minds for a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we've been discussing this for the past 60 days.
Yeah.
That we have been together and trying to figure out a way to do this to where you all can come, right? And you all can have access to the sacraments, but doing it in a way that is safe. Okay, we do not, to the best of our abilities. We want to make sure that this is a good experience for you.
Exactly, because we want to see your smiling faces again. Trust me, we've been waiting for 60 days, right?
We're tired of seeing each other.
We're tired of looking at each other every day, right? This is our quarantine class here, right?
And it's all the time.
It's all the time. But do you know what helps?
That
helps. It helps a lot.
Yes, it does.
It certainly helps a lot. Okay, so let me move on here. If you are able to obtain tickets for one weekend, consider the next weekend allowing somebody else to go to Mass. Okay, that's just being generous.
Right.
That's just being charitable. So if you get tickets for your family, please don't try to hog all the tickets every week. Let somebody else be able to have the opportunity to go to Mass who would like to go to Mass.
Yes.
I'm also asking that the older population of our parishes and those in the high-risk categories as described by the Centers for Disease Control, that you please stay home during this time. And even consider going to a daily Mass instead of the weekend Masses, right? Young people can be carriers of COVID-19 and not exhibit any signs. And if you start getting around young people who may be a carrier, those people in the older population of our parishes and those in the high-risk categories can have a real problem with COVID-19. So this helps us just help you. So instead of going to a weekend Mass, please consider going to a daily Mass. Also, those attending Mass or stopping into St. Mary's or Holy Redeemer or St. Peter to make a visit to Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, especially during the times the churches are open during confessions, please practice good hand hygiene. Wash your hands prior to coming. Bring your own hand sanitizer. Sanitize before you touch the doors or any hard surface, and after you touch any hard surface. Please sanitize. Also, please maintain social distancing in the church. We only have 50 seats in the church because there are seating only every 6 feet. Right?
Right. And also, just to, I want to re-emphasize something that you just said there. Okay, so we are trying to maintain social distancing. Even though a lot of, it seems that, at least here in the state of Ohio, a lot of restrictions are being lifted, it sounds like. For now, we are continuing on with our game plan of having 6 feet of space in between each person. So, I guess what I'm trying to say, and what I'm getting at, is when you're in the church, this is not a social hour. and I say this with a lot of kindness and a lot of love. I know that you all love to see each other, and that going to church is an opportunity for you to see your friends, to see your fellow Christians, right? But being in the church to socialize, it's not the time, guys. It's just not. So I want to be sure to re-emphasize that.
Exactly. Wonderful. Right. It's so true. Also, just to know that when you come in, families are not held to the same social distancing requirements if you're non-family, right? So a family can sit together in a pew if you live in the same household. But if you're not in the same household, please maintain social distancing and the marks that are already printed on the pews. There's a blue piece of painter's tape on the pew that marks every 6 feet where someone is able to sit. So please maintain that distance when you are coming into the church. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Holy water will continue not to be made available, and there are no candles that are able to be lit. Because again, you're touching the surface, right? You're leaving whatever germs that you have on your hands. So candles will not be available to be lit. Holy water is not available when you come into the church. Also, masks are to be worn by all who are entering the church at any time. If you are sitting in the pews, if you are coming through the door of the church, we had to turn somebody away today already.
Yeah.
You must have a mask on when you come into the church for social distancing restrictions according to the Diocese of Columbus and Bishop Brennan. So there are no ands, ifs, or buts about it. If you don't wear a mask, the volunteers at the door will turn you away or ask you to go retrieve a mask before you come in for Mass and even for visiting the churches. We're watching people going in and out of the door. So it's very important for all of you to know that. However, priests and the deacons who are assisting at Mass will not be wearing masks during Mass. So we are going to continue celebrating Mass ad orientem the way that we are facing Mass right now, so that when you're watching us at the altar, we are turned towards the Lord, we are turned away, but we are turned with you to Jesus, if you will. So Mass will be celebrated like that in all of the parishes, and from here on out. Again, to help reduce the spread of germs. But when it comes time for distribution of Holy Communion, the deacons and the priests will be wearing a mask so that we're not breathing right on you as you come forward. And because you are taking your mask off at that time to receive Holy Communion, we are going to have a mask on just to help protect ourselves. Okay, so very important. Again, there will be no music at our weekend masses. Only at our live stream masses in the parishes. There's been a restriction on choral singing.
Yes.
There's been a restriction on all of those things because you're such a tight group in a single place, and so the bishop has done away with that.
Right. And also to reemphasize that point. So it's not just the Diocese of Columbus; it is dioceses across the United States,
Right.
and it's also national organizations. So ACDA, which is American Choral Directors Association, they have also posted their recommendations for until this pandemic is over. Essentially, there are no choral activities at universities, etc., until this pandemic is over.
Okay, I just wanted to have another drink while Jordan was talking.
Well, I nerded out. It's
well,
fine.
There you go.
It's fine.
There will be no offertory procession, no presentation of the gifts during Masses on Sunday. Your envelopes and weekly offering will be able to be dropped in a basket at the door as you are walking out of church. There will be no sign of peace.
How do we know if it's done?
Oh, a timer? I have a timer. Everything's on a timer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It looks done.
Okay. I'll let you know.
Okay, great.
I could smell it, but I
Okay.
didn't think it was ready.
You got 16 minutes.
Yeah. It is. It's still soft at the top.
Okay, great.
Yep.
It just looks.
It just looks beautiful,
It looks.
doesn't it?
It looks
There
done.
you go.
And Father Tuttle over here is
I did not
being
say
such
that.
an
You said it
encourager by saying that it looks burnt, but it
Doesn't look
isn't.
burnt. It's
But
not
it
burnt.
isn't. It is not burnt.
No, it's not. It's beautiful.
It is lovely.
So let me continue on. I don't want to slow this down. This is
Okay.
important.
Sorry. Yes.
Even if it would have burned in here, I wouldn't have cared, right? Because I want to get through this today. This is so important as we are preparing,
Right.
and we'll reemphasize this all again. Again, there will be no sign of peace. We will not be offering the sign of peace, and that's something we started to do back even the weekend before this all hit, before St. Patrick's Day. This is going to be the big change to your schedule or to your attendance at Mass. This is going to be something that's very different. Holy Communion will be distributed at the end of Mass following the final blessing. We ask that when you receive Holy Communion, that you will not be returning back to your pews and that you will be flowing right out the doors of the church. And that's where you'll receive your bulletin. You won't receive your bulletins when you come in either. Everything is going to happen at the end of the church. You're not even going to touch the door of the church when you're coming in because volunteers will be there. There are marked exits and entrances to the churches. Volunteers will be there to greet you, to also welcome you. They will have masks and gloves on as volunteers there at the door. Also, when you're in communion line, please social distance. In the communion line, our aisleways are very narrow. And so we will be doing single file lines down the center. But again, you have to maintain 6 feet distance between you and the next person in line. So this is going to be very important for you to follow that. But there will be markings on the carpeting and on the floors in the center aisle for social distancing as you come in. So again, communion will be given after the final blessing. The deacon and the priest will come down to the floor, and then we will distribute communion in that way. Again, we ask that there are no gatherings in the church before or after Masses. Unfortunately, this is not a time for meetings. This is not a time for greeting each other. When you go to your pew, you will be asked to stay in your pew and not to leave it to go anywhere. We're trying to reduce that risk of putting anyone else at risk when you come into the church. Again, public restrooms will not be available either. Please go to the bathroom. If you have kids who need to go to the bathroom, don't bring them, right? Don't come with them because a bathroom will not be available for you to be able to use. If you have medical issues that require you to need to go to the bathroom during Mass, I am sorry, but I'm asking you to stay at home, okay? That's for your safety. It is for the safety of all of you and for our staff during this entire time.
Okay.
So, we've made it through the list.
Great. So, are you ready for questions?
I'm ready for questions.
Great. So, the first question that came up is, are the tickets that someone goes, let's say they go and they get their ticket on Wednesday, okay, is that ticket then the same Mass time that they attend throughout the course?
No, you
until
have to get a
September?
new ticket every week.
Okay.
You are not getting one ticket for the entire year or the entire through September. You must get a new ticket every week because there will be a new date stamped on that ticket. And again, the tickets are numbered and they are stamped with the parish seal. So you will need to get a new ticket. You will need to come every week to the office to obtain a new ticket for the following masses.
Okay, so the next question then is, you mentioned tickets for weekend masses. Do those tickets apply for daily?
No, there are no tickets for daily mass. We'll see what the numbers are like as we move forward. That decision will be made at a later date if we need tickets for daily mass.
Okay.
So there are only 50 seats available at St. Mary's for daily mass, but we are not ticketing daily masses.
Okay.
Right.
And so also just to clarify then, once we reach 50 people,
Yes.
There's no
Unfortunately, there's no more. There's no standing room available in the churches during these restrictions. So once 50 seats are taken, no one else will be allowed into the church during this time.
okay.
Yeah.
Another question that came up was regarding gloves. Should people consider wearing gloves to come to Mass?
That's up to you. It's not a requirement.
Okay, so that is discretionary.
We just ask that you sanitize your hands coming in and out.
Right. Okay, great. And then the last thing is cloth masks. So there was a couple of comments that people are currently making these masks, and so it would actually be super helpful for those of you who are making masks right now, or maybe you know of people that are currently making masks. If you could, down in the comments section, be sure to share that, so that way, if anybody is looking for cloth masks, if you want to get a stash going of cloth masks to have, that way they can reach out to you and be able to receive those. That would be very helpful.
Let me also say this. Let me go ahead and talk to Paul and see what he needs. But I'm going to reiterate this. Father Tuttle and I don't have to offer Mass right now. We are not required by the bishop to offer Mass during this time of the restrictions. So if Father Tuttle and I get sick, we will actually cancel Mass. Okay? If any of you get sick, that's why these restrictions are so important. If any of you get sick, we will be canceling Masses again, and no one will be available. So please abide by these guidelines. If Father Tuttle and I are feeling at a place where we shouldn't be offering Mass, we won't, and we'll let you know. So the discretion is left to us, left to me as a pastor, by the bishop as to whether or not. There are some parishes that won't be starting up Masses because their pastor is 70 or above.
Right.
So just be glad that you've got two young priests right now who are able to offer Mass, because some places that won't be happening. Okay? There's a question on kids and masks. Please do not bring your younger children. If your child comes, they must be wearing a mask. And so the CDC guidelines say that no children under 2 should wear a mask anyway. So if your kids aren't wearing a mask, then don't come to Mass, right? So my suggestion is you leave your kids at home. Don't put them in danger by putting them in danger by bringing them to Mass during this time. I don't think it's wise personally until we know more, until restrictions change. My suggestion is that young kids, please stay at home. Unless they're wearing a mask, and you can keep that mask on them when they come in here. I know 2 and under, it is you're not allowed to, you shouldn't put a mask on your kids 2 or under anyway, according to the CDC guidelines. So I shouldn't see young ones running around here during Mass. We hope not. And if they can't wear a mask, then they shouldn't be in the pews with you. And that's how we'll deal with that.
Okay, so a couple more questions that have popped up. Will there be a one call or anything to let people know that spots are filled for a weekend?
Yeah, sure. As soon as we know.
As soon as we know, we will let
As soon as we know, we'll let you know.
So there's that. A couple of other questions that came up. Office hours again for picking up tickets.
Office hours again, starting next Wednesday. It's Wednesday through Friday only, from 1 to 4 in the afternoon.
Right, and then and also when they does each person in the same household need a ticket?
Yes.
Yes.
This is we are ticketing individuals.
Yes.
not families.
Yes.
Okay? We are ticketing individuals.
And regarding sacristans and such, like lectors and everybody.
We will not be there will be no sacristans, there will be no lectors, there will be no Eucharistic ministers, and there will be no servers. And there will be sacristans, but you will be contacted. If you have not been contacted, it's because you don't fit the age category, and I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way it goes. So if you've been a sacristan, but you are outside of those CDC guidelines, then you haven't been contacted to be put on the schedule, because we are training volunteers who are outside of those CDC guidelines to have them to be able to volunteer in the parish, and that's just the way we're restricted and have to do it, unfortunately.
Right.
So.
So another question that came up. For those unable to attend Mass right now, is there any other way that they can receive the Eucharist?
No. So we're not making home visits at this point in time. We're not opening up our Eucharistic ministers to making home visits, and I'm sorry about that. Again, we were restricted by the bishop to make home visits except in the case of those who are in danger of death, for the anointing and taking the Eucharist home.
Okay, let's see. One other question. Are other Catholic churches in the area doing the same thing with tickets? We can't
No,
say.
I don't think so. We're the only ones.
Yes.
As far as I know. It was one of the options that was given to us. But I know that St. Joe and Ironton, they only have 50 people available in their pews. They've already done that, so they will be turning people away. And as well, other parishes are all doing the guidelines for what we're doing for reducing the number of seats available in the pews. So let the other people go to their home parishes, right? And again, don't hog the tickets every week, right?
Yes.
So allow other people to attend Mass for those who would like to be part of Mass. You are dispensed.
Right. Again,
you are dispensed from the obligation of Sunday Mass until September 13th.
And again, also, I want to re-emphasize. So I know this seems like a lot, because it
seems
is
harsh.
And that's because it is. It is a lot. But there are reasons why we're doing it, right? Okay, so Father Joe is not a meanie. Father Tuttle is not a meanie, okay? That's not why, all right? We are doing our best to keep you all safe, okay? And per the bishop's restrictions, per guidance from the CDC, from all these different entities, right? This is where we're at until September. So I guess I just want to re-emphasize that this is out of kindness for you, out of love for you.
Otherwise, if we didn't do the ticketing, folks, we would have to turn you away at the door, and no volunteer wants to have to be the one to turn you away at the door, right? You've driven all the way in for Mass. No one wants to be the one to turn you away, but that's what they would have been trained to do. So the tickets are a way for us to be able to reduce those instances of opportunities for getting our noses bent outside the door and somebody get their noses busted in. Let's be honest. So this is a way to help reduce that.
So I'm laughing not because of you. I'm laughing because Janet Williams and other ladies are concerned that we burnt the cake. It's okay, we caught it. It's fine. It's out of the oven.
Yeah, it's
they were concerned that we were burning things.
It's beautiful. It's not burned at all.
Yeah. So it looks very, very tasty.
Yeah,
by the way, guys.
absolutely. Look, I mean, it's pretty fantastic there, folks.
Yeah, see, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Even though I keep on teasing him about his crab cakes, they do look very tasty.
They are very tasty. So let me just go reiterate one more time.
Okay.
We are not guaranteeing your safety when you come to Mass. When you come to Mass, you're putting yourself at risk.
Yes.
The parish is not responsible if you get sick. But again, if someone does get sick, because we've been at Masses are closed down. We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
So that's why this is so important. There's been a permanent Mass change to the schedule. We're still going to continue daily Mass Monday through Saturday at noon. We're still
Yes.
going to continue the holy hours Monday through Friday at 7. And we're going to live stream daily Mass and the 10:30 Mass from St. Mary's. But the Mass time on Sundays have been changed. Saturday Vigil at 4:30, Sunday at 9 a.m. at St. Peter, Sunday at 10:30 at St. Mary's, Sunday noon at St. Monica, and Sunday 4:30 p.m. at Holy Redeemer, which will again be bilingual.
Thank you, Karen.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, sorry, I'm saying thank you to Karen because she had a lovely comment. She says, "Fathers in Jordan, thank you for everything you do for us and for making it understandable and fun." So
Yeah,
thank you, Karen.
absolutely.
That's very sweet.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
try our
We
best.
try.
We're having fun. We struggle having to have a cocktail and cook
and
something
making
every
cake
week.
and everything. You know, it's a
Right,
rough
we
job.
struggle. It's a tough job, but I'm
It's a
glad
tough-
we got to do it. But again, you will need tickets for the Sunday Masses
Right.
here. Sunday Mass tickets can be available Wednesday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And we did this in-person pickup because not everybody's on the internet. Not everybody's out there. So if we went to an online Eventbrite program, then not everybody would have access. So this way, people who can drive, should drive, or shouldn't drive, we'll find out, will have access to tickets Wednesday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. starting next Wednesday, which is May 27th, for that weekend of the 30th and 31st. You will have to get a new ticket every week. And we will let you know once the tickets are full or once particular parishes are full, so that if there's another parish that's still open, you may have the opportunity to get that ticket as well.
Okay, so a couple of other things have popped up.
Mhm.
There were questions regarding First Communion and Confirmation,
Mhm.
and basically that information is forthcoming, correct?
It's forthcoming. Megan will be in contact with all of our families for First Communion. The dates have already been decided. Confirmation is canceled until further notice. We're already from March until May, so that's 3 months behind schedule.
Yes.
They've been
Yes.
canceled since the 1st of March. We're behind schedule now. We're 3 months behind. I don't know what the bishop is going to do. He hasn't made a decision on that. Hopefully I will find out tomorrow at the Presbyteral Council meeting. Father Tuttle can turn off the timer since we've already pulled it. There we go.
There we go. Cool.
So that's
yes.
that's the answer to that one.
Yes. And then also regarding funeral masses, there's a question regarding a memorial mass at the cemetery.
We don't do memorial masses at the cemetery, no, but we do burial rites. We will start doing the memorial masses for those who have passed away, but again, it will be for families, and the numbers are limited,
Yes.
who can attend memorial masses. So
Right.
we've had several folks pass away, so we will be able to schedule those after June 1st, but again, the parish numbers are limited, so even if you had a memorial mass for a family member, let's say at St. Peter, you're limited to 40 people coming through September,
Yes.
right? So if you have a memorial mass at St. Mary's, you're limited to 50 people coming, or
Right.
Holy Redeemer or St. Monica. So we are limited on the number of people to
Right.
attend those memorial masses when we begin the schedule.
Right. So, all right. I think that's it for the questions.
Okay.
I think we made it.
I think we made it. I think we've done it.
I think.
we all deserve a cheers to that,
Yes,
huh?
yes,
Yes,
yes.
we've made it through this. Any other questions from the peanut gallery over there? Thank you. Teresa thinks we did fabulous.
Yes.
So
yes.
if Teresa thinks we did fabulous,
Then we're doing all right.
then we're doing all right.
So.
Absolutely. Good.
So, okay.
Paul, anything else before we go? We got it all taken care of on the comments. We're good.
How's that peach cobbler?
We're going to find out in just a minute how that peach cobbler is, because it looks delicious.
Yes, it does.
And
I'm excited.
and it smells really good as well. So again, we will see you next week. Actually, next week I'm hoping we're going to have a surprise for you. It's not really going to be a surprise because I'm going to tell you now.
Okay.
We have 2 seminarians who are going to be moving in for the summer. They're going to be working with us here in the parishes, and they're going to be primarily working at St. Francis Catholic Outreach Center. So they're going to get an experience in Catholic social service work. And you know what? And as you know, and if you've worked with Barb McKenzie ever, we have the best Catholic social service office in the diocese, and I would say in the country. They're so well organized. They do such wonderful work here. And these guys are going to learn a lot. Probably they will be a step ahead of all of their seminary classmates because of the opportunity to work with Barb McKenzie and her staff here at St. Francis Catholic Outreach Center. So I'm really looking forward to inviting these guys. So hopefully they'll be with us on COVID Cooking next week. And I know Jason Fox was going to watch today because I just talked to him. So shout out to Jason. This should be an interesting time. So
it's going to be hilarious.
It will be. It'll be hilarious.
It's going to be.
All right, well, God bless you. Have a good afternoon. Try this casserole and certainly try the John Daly hard lemonade, the hard iced tea. Trust me, it won't let you down.
Not at all.
No. You may have to be let down, but it's not going to let you down. So, God bless you. Bon appetit until the next time. We'll see you from our Father's Kitchen.